Hi, are you stressed out over exams, confusion, racing thoughts, scared to go into that exam room? Well, you've come to the right place. Actually, seriously, uh, a number of our students are preparing for exam, and probably you preparing for exam right now, and you might be telling yourself, am I ready for this exam? The exam might be a mathematics exam, it might be a geography exam, it might be a social studies exam. Whatever exam it may be, no doubt you may have been preparing over the course of the year or possibly over the course of a few months, maybe a few weeks, or probably you now about to get ready to start preparing for those examinations. Either way, you probably already have the grade that you want to have in your mind. Now, you want to be realistic. Sometimes a person may not be studying and they expect to get an A or a B and they know they're not studying. Now, you probably are in the category of students who were at least studying over the course of a period of time and you're expecting to get a good grade. Now, for you, a good grade may mean a A plus, maybe a A. For some students, it might be that they were studying, but they know they won't get a A in this particular course, or overall, they know they're not going to get a E. Maybe a B. A B might be good enough for them. They worked hard for it. There are some students they may not be looking forward to even get a B. They just want to pass, maybe a C, and they're good with that. And it's not that they not trying; they will have worked really hard, but the specific course in which they are doing the examination in, they probably not too good in it, and therefore they know if they just pass. Now, for a number of you who are students who are studying for an examination, or about to write an examination, you might be having some challenges. Now, the challenges, they could be many, but a few that normally comes up, it's like television, video games, or it's social media. So at least these three things: television, video games, social media. So you might be telling yourself, I have so much distraction, so much things coming up in my way. This program, this show, or maybe this new game that came out, this friend who is trying to talk to me on social media right now, or these messages I have to check, these messages I have to just clear off my phone or my tablet, or I have to check these emails before I really sit down to study. And before you know it, one thing leads to another. Time passes, you haven't been studying, and the exam is just around the corner. So let's see if we can help you out a little bit. Let's see if we can change some of the distractions, or at least help you out to get your study going so that you'll be in a better position, or the best possible position to write your exams and do well. Now, if you have no exams that you're preparing for, this video is definitely not for you. Alright, so maybe you can go look at one of my other videos and see what it has to offer. So feel free to, stop here and go check out the others. But if you are preparing for exam, I want to encourage you to stay on. Alright, so you're preparing for this exam, at least I'll give you two tips. Now, if you stay on looking, there might be a bonus tip at the end. Might be. Alright. Okay, let's talk about the two things that definitely can help you out here. One has to do with calendar. A calendar. Well, we know what a calendar looks like. It has numbers on it, the days of the week, and it has the date. So we are able to know, okay, today is whatever today is when you're looking at this video. So you have a calendar in hand. You also know based on the calendar when your examination will be. So if your examination is going to be in the next month, next 2 months, probably next week, you have the calendar and you know exactly what, hopefully, you know the date based on what the lecturer or the teacher or the examination body may have indicated the date of the examination is. You have that information. So you can now look at, okay, how far away am I from the examination? So it will kind of give you a good idea as to how much study you need to put in, how many hours, so that you can be in a really good position to either memorize some of the information, learn the information, or possibly be able to do both. Okay, so the calendar, You will definitely need to know the date of the examination, and you also need to know the date at which you should start studying, at least to give you a good opportunity to pass that examination. The other thing that you definitely want to have, it's an agenda. Now, you may wonder, why have an agenda? I already know that I have to study for the exam and I know what I have to study. So, probably I have mathematics. I know I have to study mathematics. Or possibly I know I have history. I know I have to study history. But the question is really, yes, you have mathematics. Yes, you have history. But is it that you just take your history book, you sit down, or your mathematics book, you sit down and you start doing calculations in the case of mathematics? So you just start reading anything in history because you have a history exam? Well, that will really not be the best possible thing to do. Many times you might be aware of what are the areas that you should be focusing on for the examination. Now, I'm not saying that you only focus on those areas when trying to learn the body of information, or the body of knowledge based on the subject matter. But in terms of preparing for the exam, it will make good sense to focus primarily on the things that will be coming. So, for mathematics, it's not just mathematics coming, but for example, fractions or quadratic equations will be coming. So, your focus has to be on those. You also want to focus on specific areas too, especially if you may not necessarily have a good handle on those areas. So you want to spend some more time on them. In the case, let's say you're preparing for history, what is coming for history? Is it just general history? Is it history based on the South American history? Is it based on Caribbean history? What aspect? Is it based on food, culture, or religion? Is it what exactly are you studying? So having that agenda, or creating that agenda, gives you a good idea of the areas that you should be sitting down to focus on when you are studying. So it's not just you pick up the book and you just turn to any page and you just start reading information, or just studying or making notes based on that. All right. So definitely you need to have that calendar, and you need to create an agenda so you know exactly what are the areas you'll be focusing on. And in the case of the calendar, you will know exactly based on the day how close you're coming to the examination, or how far away the examination is from the time in which you start your revision. One of the things with the calendar too is that you can put a tick mark or check mark by the date, so you know exactly the date that you will have studied for. So you just put a check there. So today is whatever date it is, you put a check mark there, so you know that you will have studied on that specific day. And in the case of the agenda, as you go along studying on that agenda, you just mark it off as you go along. Okay, so you studied um, history. Maybe you see Caribs, the Arawaks, you scratch that off. You studied the language of them, you scratch it off. So you're going down on the agenda until you reach the end. So that's how pretty much you use the agenda. Don't jump around the agenda. Make sure you sit down and you create the agenda in a systematic way, so that one point will really lead into the other when you study. When you're studying. No, you may ask yourself the question, why create an agenda? Why create a calendar? And the answer might be obvious, it may not necessarily be obvious, but at least these are the areas in which I'd like you to focus on as to why creating a calendar or agenda just makes good sense to help you to pass your examination, or at least to do well in your examination. So productivity goes up. Definitely, if you have some kind of way to focus, in the case of on your agenda what you have to work on, so definitely you can focus more on the specific areas or the specific subject matter, and based on the calendar too, you know that okay, I can focus on the date today, because I know the next 3 days, the next 4 days, the next week, the next month, I have this examination. So it really helps you, and these two items really help you to remain focused on your study. Task completion, you're able to complete your task. Once you have the agenda, you know you're moving forward. So as you work through the points on the agenda, you're moving forward and you're able to say, okay, I just completed this, I completed that next, I completed this, the third, the fourth, fifth, and you go down the agenda until you complete your study. So your productivity definitely will go up. procrastination, well, that will go down. So you will be less likely to start procrastinating. You'll be less likely to stop doing what you're doing in terms of your study or your preparation, and then you will be more focused. So, of course, if you're more focused, then you're less likely to procrastinate. You're less likely to just zone out or start daydreaming. So, your productivity definitely will go up. In the case of your emotional and physical well being, well, that will be balanced, it will be kept intact when you have an agenda, when you have a calendar as you're studying. You see, what happens is that, for example, once you start seeing that you're progressing and you're not procrastinating, you'll feel happy about yourself. You'll really feel, okay, I'm getting things done. I'm able to really move forward towards understanding concepts, understanding what I'm studying, understanding what is most likely going to come for the examination. You feel happy about yourself knowing that more than likely I will pass because I'm understanding what's going on. I'm studying, I'm preparing, I'm revising. So your happiness, the feeling of happiness really goes up, and you really have that sense of joy. A feeling of stress, well, that goes down. Your feeling of stress definitely will go down as you continue to study. You will see ways in which you will see areas in which you are improving in areas that you may not have been able to focus on before. Now that you have your agenda and your calendar, you're now able to focus on those areas. You're seeing yourself working, moving forward. You're feeling less stress. You're having a grasp on the information. You're feeling that you're capable now, and that self-esteem is going to help you to feel less stressed or less stressed out. You're going to be less worried as well, because once you realize that you know the information, then there's really nothing to worry about. You prepared, you go to the examination, and you do your very best. So you worry, that definitely will go down. Your feeling of hopelessness, that will also go down. So I hope you're seeing students or those who are preparing for examination that with calendars and agendas, once you have them and you work with them and you be consistent with them, you're able to really focus on your study and your revision, and you're able to really zero in to what you need to do, putting your head down, getting it done, and being able to really be prepared for those examinations, and feeling that you can pass. And once you have that drive or that motivation, you're going into the examination room with your own personal cheerleaders, as it were. So you really want to have those calendars. Now, some persons may say that, well, I really don't like the whole idea of having a hard copy calendar. Feel free. You can have a soft copy calendar. Maybe it's an electronic calendar that you may have. So I did say if you stay to the end of this video, you will get a bonus tip, and that bonus tip has to do with work with a timer. Yeah, work with a timer. Now, if you know that your concentration level could be held for at least 20 minutes, work for 20 minutes, take a 5-minute break, maybe get some water, take a little stretch, go back again to your study for at least 20 minutes, then take a 5-minute break, go back to your study again, 20 minutes, and you go like that for a few 20-minute sessions, well, until you feel comfortable enough that you are getting a hang on or getting a handle on the subject matter and you're feeling really capable, then you can move on to something else. So you have your calendar, your agenda, and work with a timer. So all the best in your examination, and take care.